I want you to continue the story, and it's kind of cool because in between starting Lux, having that happen, and Immersion, it's kind of like when we really connected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I want like Growth House, the audience, like there's a special connection Nate and I will always have based on what happened in Ruben's office on that whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share that story?
Yeah, I think it's so cool because like I went through a time where like we did this huge thing and ended up having like a really negative outcome, and I was like in a spot where like I love my team too, because people like you and everybody close to me was like, all right, bro, what's up? What's next?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, dang, things are terrible. It was like, what's next? And we just sat there and we planned together, and you were there for me like nobody, like many other people weren't. And we planned that out. And it was like, do we do this? Do we that? You wanted to do Growth House. I wanted to give more back to entrepreneurs. And we came up with a vision, and we modeled it, and we planned it, and we designed it, and we went after it. And in a way that I had not even gone at something before. Like in a matter of hours, I mean, we were coming up with entire new business models and solving problems at a super high rate. And that's just a compilation of all of our resources and knowledge as a team, right? Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was so special. And like to take something that you created like as an event series, and we were like, all right, let's turn this into a full-blown national accelerator. You're like, okay.
I'm over here. I still don't even know probably what accelerator truly means. I'm like, I see your vision, Nate. I don't know exactly what all this means.
You wanted the TV show. It started off as a TV show. That was where we started.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah, we were going to make a TV show around the accelerator. I was going to run accelerator, you were running television, the broadcasting experience. And we still got to do that.
100%.
We're going to make a show.
And that's the beauty of, I think, when two like-minded people are in a room together, you're able to dream again. You're able to see each other's vision and support that. But at the same time, you know when, all right, I can't fit the piece, or maybe I'm not the right person for that role to help that person, but you run with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I saw you, the startup world, the accelerators, you've been through that. I'm like, Nate, this is bigger than just, what I thought it was. Mm-hmm. And I had I don't know what you would call it, but I had the vision saying like, Nate, you got to run with this, man. Like maybe this is not exactly what I envisioned, but I see what you're doing. This is bigger than what I envisioned. And I thought it was beautiful the way you're just like, all right, man, I got this.
Well, I also got a question because I know me, right? I'm like super loyal to a fault. I'm like, we're going to do this together, et cetera. And I'm sitting there building all this out, everything, and I'm coming to all this vision. I'm a super pusher too. I know I am. And I'm like, I'm like ready to like call you and have a real good next steps question. And like before I could even get to like creating a new plan or anything, you came to me with a vision and a trust in me. Where'd that come from? Like because like that's the friendship that like you don't see often in people, right? And like with us building something together, and I think to me, I look at it as like falling in love with the solution and the problem, not the solution, because we're both doing exactly what we said we'd do, and we're still going to do it together. But it was like, what made you? Where did that come from? You have such good character. I'm sorry, I'm reversing the interview, but like that was an awesome moment that really cemented you in my life forever.
What was the question exactly?
Where'd that come from? What that character to be able to say, this is, your brand, and to be able to then say, hey, Nate, you run with it. Yeah. You gave up a piece of something that you believed in.
Yeah. I think it comes down to what's going to make this be really successful. And I felt the role that I could fill, and you believed in me to fill, I realized there's probably someone better for that role. And I think it's me knowing your integrity, your character, and trusting you that Nate's not going to let this down. Nate's going to take this. Nate has a background in this. And for me, it was also thinking, I've already started something. Mm-hmm. I think that was my biggest thing. There's people that are counting on me to continue building what I've already built. I have a community, Growth House, you guys watching this. And I was like, I got to go back. I got to finish what I started. I'm trying to, and I think I probably had shiny object syndrome. Mm-hmm. I was only a year into entrepreneurship, true entrepreneurship, quit my job, all in on myself. You have 10 years of background. And I was like, all right, I got to finish what I started. I'm not going to hop around. Do I believe in what Nate's creating, and will we help kind of build together? And then Nate just took it to the moon, 100%. And so that's where it was. It was my faith in you and my realization that I got to finish what I started.
You know what's funny is that that resonates with me, because if you look at what we just talked about, finishing what you start is so important. And that's something that resonates with me super well, because like even with Immersion, it's also finishing and expanding the work that we've already started as a unit, right? We all have a common trend, which is why we're recording this right now, is that we don't want to grow without giving. So like we all were like, how do we build purpose-driven businesses? And I think Immersion, Growth House, Ease, everything we've talked about, everything you talk about, the people around you, is I think it's like you had to find what matched your purpose, to find what matched my purpose, but all of our purposes are relatively the same.
100%. It's honestly just like potentially different stages of people's life. You're now focused on those people that, you know, already have built startups, they have revenue, and now you're like, I can connect the pieces for you. Let me give you the resources. Let me fill in all the gaps that the accelerators that you've been through didn't. You're that solution. And same with me, same with Growth House. Coming out of college, I was just trying to find good people to hang out with. You know, I was a later bloomer. I didn't start my first business at 3 years old like you did. So I was, 21, just didn't really know what I wanted to do with life. Got into a sales job. I always knew that I wanted to do more. I had a bigger purpose. I wanted to give back in certain ways. And so for me, it was just finding like-minded people. And what better to then live with like-minded people and not live by yourself. And I think there's something going on right now that is literally, they call it a loneliness epidemic or pandemic. I don't know what they call it, but it's so true. And I'm basically providing the solution I wish I would have had coming out of college. I wish I would have had that good circle of friends. And, that's what we're creating the solution for through Growth House is, hey, you don't even have that circle of friends. You also get to live with them. It's like a constant mastermind. And I've already had multiple years of experience, the effect it's had on my life and also other people's, where it's literally life-changing. And so
the funny thing is we are all saying the same thing. 25 exceptional people, the Growth House, the environment, the surroundings. And people don't realize that, right? Like, it's the people you surround yourself with. And people need to fill different roles. There's got to be the capital person. There's got to be the legal person. There's got to be the strategy, the banker. There's got to be the bulldog. We all know him. His name's Saul Sutton. Like, we got to have like the one that's to protect everybody. Everybody needs to know their roles, like a football team. And if all of a sudden you got a whole squad and somebody's like, well, what is my role? You may not be in the role today, right? So today, you got to go do whatever you need to do to develop into the role we have planned for you tomorrow. Nobody left behind. It's just seasonal. So I think that's the piece that people need to realize is like, build your org chart of your dream life, not just your dream company. Because when you build the org chart for your life, you can do anything and everything. And that's the other piece. Like me, myself, like I want to be able to jump to where I'm at if I didn't have the great partners that I have, because as soon as I went from poverty to partners, my credit score went up. My assets went up. My knowledge and research went up. Now I got the best lawyers in the world. Like, by understanding a good partner, it's key, and not trying to get money out of the person. You may not ever need a nickel from somebody. Like, even like Kevin Walker, for instance, he'll put money in sometimes, or I just need him to watch me through the deal. Can you just help me get this done? Just come to a few meetings with me. Like, just make sure I'm doing this right so I can get the most money out of it. Like, people just don't know what they need sometimes.
So true. And I